What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I just want to talk about the youth, the African youth, the future Gen Z, Gen A. That's like the ones coming after Gen G or whatever it is. The ones after us, millennials, right? And I'm just really happy that they are so much better than us. They're so much better than us. Right now, old people are trying to stop young people from talking to each other. So when you hear like the politicians talk about TikTok is dangerous, TikTok's not dangerous. TikTok is an application that people use to disseminate what they want to talk about, right? And so all these old crusty ass politicians who used to count on three or four sources of information getting out from their CNN, Fox, MSNBC and shit like that, and the whole population having to base their opinions based off what it is that's carefully curated, you know, from these news networks that are just networks owned by the parents and the children of the same politicians and the multi-billion-dollar corporations, the CEOs. Like, these are all the same people. He'll be a CEO, he'll own a company for umpteen $1 billion. He'll decide he want to be a senator one day, and he go to his other rich buddy, and they run a campaign to be a senator. And he goes other rich buddy, he works as a news analyst, right? He'll go, you know, and he'll go work on, you know, he'll talk about him on Fox News, make him look big. All those Harvard graduates, the dumbass, freaking rich dumbasses who don't really qualify to go to Harvard and Yale and all these Oxford and all these schools that they attach themselves to make them look prestigious so they can be a part of their who's club. But in actuality, they're just fucking rich idiot, spoiled people who get to control the fucking levers of power because they got all the money, because their parents got all the money, because their parents enslaved black people and made 500 years of 100% profit with no overhead, basically. So I mean, that's just what it is. A bunch of rich oligarchs in America who control the media, control politics, and they just pass it along amongst themselves and battle amongst themselves, and they ignore us lowly people here. But the thing is, with this new age of information, the power no longer really lies in those people with their money. You see, they're trying to, the Jewish elite are trying to force black people, you know, the people they use to entertain the world, you know, creating their false black. They're using hip-hop and make it seem like that's our culture because they control the media, right? They're trying to force black people to support their homicidal genocide that, you know, they like do shit like that, right? But before, it was so much easier. You know, they'll just go on their news networks. They got 3 or 4 anchors. They all say the same shit one day in support of whatever group, and then the whole country just believes it. But now we got this thing called TikTok, where not only do the youth, right, Gen Z, Gen A now is talking, right? The millennials, us, I'm at the edge, right? I'm the last of the millennials, you know, and we are the ones who witness going from no internet to now. We are the ones in the middle. We are the ones becoming the old heads, and we are now replacing our parents, you know, Generation X. Generation X, they got effed up because of the drugs, you know, Ronald Reagan and his war on drugs / black people, you know, the Republicans and their war on black people, you know, and the Democrats and they're taking advantage of black people, thinking that we just gonna give them a vote because they did something for us back in 1965 and shit, because it was politically expedient for them and all that shit. Like, all this shit, every generation had to deal with some shit, right? But every generation that comes after that, you know, we come out of that and we shed that skin, right? So we had to shed this, you know, my generation, we had to shed the skin of our super Christian, super Muslim parents who went to church on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, twice on Sunday, you know what I'm saying, give you that white Jesus, right? My generation is the ones like, you know what? Jesus ain't white, he's black. And then my generation also say his name ain't Jesus. And also we say ain't no such thing as Jesus, but there probably was a figure over there in that area who was a revolutionary and fought against the system like various other rebels and got killed by the system, just like every other rebel gets killed by the system when they try to fight the system, right? Black people, we have plenty of martyrs just in recent history that went that way and got murdered by the very same, by the system they was fighting against. Jesus Christ was a freedom fighter, right? The person that inspired Jesus Christ was a freedom fighter. The character they got Jesus off of, the African character was a freedom fighter. Like, there's many of freedom fighters, many of people in history who could be put in the place of who did the thing that we say Jesus did, right? But bringing peace and love. Ultimately, these religions, they're supposed to bring peace and love, but they do not bring death and destruction, right? And they want, and religion keeps people's minds small, keep people stop thinking and stop thinking about how grand and beautiful the world is, right? And how things are more complicated than that one book everybody's killing each other over. Or the 3 books, the Torah, the freaking Old Testament, the New Testament, the Quran. 4 books, basically 3 books that dominate the entire world. But even though there's millions upon millions of books out here, they got way more knowledge in those books, but we seem to hover over those books. But you see, this new generation, they're so much smarter than us. They're like our previous generation was running on 16 gigabytes. All right, my generation, freaking millennials, we running on 32 gigs. We running on 64 gigs. Some of us got 120 gigs. Some of us got a terabyte. But bro, these new ones, they coming out the box with 4 terabytes of data. All right, straight up, they coming out the box with 4. These kids are coming out the box with 4-5 terabytes of data. All right, they're incredibly smart, right? And they don't fall for all the archaic tactics that these politicians are deploying that used to work, right? It's a new age. It don't work no more, right? And I'm just happy that we're gonna leave this earth in the hands of very capable individuals, and that's what I campaign for. Is the youth. Everything I do, once the ancestors bless me with more financial capabilities, the only thing I'm focused on is the future. I'm done. Like millennials and above, y'all done. Y'all done made y'all mind up. Y'all done decided what y'all gonna do. Y'all done already picked y'all camps. Y'all done already said y'all gonna be tribalistic. Y'all have not, a lot of them have not dealt with the trauma of your past, and you still hold on to immature feelings and thought. You're not even mature as human beings, right? Not yet. And you know, I don't expect everybody to be. We are evolving. But the children that we're having now, the children that are being born by the children, they're lucky because they're having parents now. Because you see us millennials, we're mothers and fathers. We're parents in the household, right? Because we are the result. I'm the result of the crack epidemic. Like my mom and dad, they was out there. My daddy they was gangsters. They was big time gang. I'm talking about Grateful Edmonds. That was them, right? That was on my father's side. My mom was out there, you know what I'm saying? Every stereotype you can think of, we was out there. But my mom, she managed to get out of that. She managed to get away from that, right? And I managed to do better. I evolved, right? And my children gonna evolve. And them children gonna evolve. And we're gonna do better. And one day we're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, look how they're gonna look back and see how archaic and barbaric we were. Even our government systems are barbaric. They're totally barbaric. The way we think as human beings is barbaric. We act barbaric, right? So, but in the future, as I can see, soon things will change. We'll become a more peaceful group of people. We'll, evolve. We are evolving, and the youth are not listening to these old crusty ass 80-something-year-old politicians. They're just not listening to them. Like I was saying, the youth, they're just so much smarter than us, and I'm just happy that they have woken up. Because the thing is, look at all the major changes happening in Africa. Now, I'm not saying there ain't some old people, that's not trying to make some things happening. There are people older that's senior to me that's still trying to fight the good fight. But they also recognize the youth is where the power is, right? And the youth is starting to stand up. Look at all the coups in the francophone countries. Those are young guys. Those are millennials and downs who's taking charge. Because they're tired of seeing their 80-year-old uncle give the white man everything, and their 80-year-old uncle riding around in BMW, hopping on planes, going to Johns Hopkins University, and ain't got no fucking hospital. The youth are tired of seeing what they see and then being told something different by the politicians that's supposed to have their best interests at heart. It's like, we're not stupid. The politicians are stupid. Politicians, like the people who they're trying to throw in there are stupid. And now that the youth are becoming more aware, we're looking at these people like they're stupid. Like people like Viveka Ramaphosa, right? The Indian dude, the Indian coon running for the presidency. He talks to people like they stupid. He's assuming that most of the constituents are stupid. That's why he talks that way. Look at DeSantis. DeSantis is a fucking idiot. I'm smarter than DeSantis. I know I'm smarter than DeSantis. DeSantis is a spoon-fed guy who's in the right, might be a legacy, went to college, they made him go to Navy, but dude doesn't have an athletic bone in his body. The dude is awkward and weird, yet they're trying to force him down our throats. Before, they used to be able to do shit like that, right? Donald Trump got charisma, and he's just a criminal who got charisma, so I see why people fall for Donald Trump. He got skill. He ain't shit. He's dumb. He's spoon-fed, rich, doesn't even, dude never been below the clouds. He don't even know what a pet, I just, it's amazing. You know what people do about Donald Trump? It's funny. People, they look at Donald Trump, right? And they manifest the leader they think he is. And they speak for him, they explain for him. Donald Trump will say something straight up. And people be like, no, he didn't mean that. You know, because that's how stupid people's operating systems are now, right? You'll have a bunch of middle-aged black men talk about the Republicans for 3 hours every day and not tell you one policy. You'll have people you'll have people who call themselves pro-black, right? Complain about the Democrats, right? Complain about politicians and how things work, but not tell you and threaten to dismantle the only power that black people have in this country. The only political power we have is on the Democratic side. And you have black middle-aged men who are trying to destroy the only semblance of power we have, the only place that we actually can make effective change, and we have made effective change. And all they doing is coming on the internet and saying the Democrats don't F about us. The Democrats. I'm like, well, okay. Well, what policies don't you like that the Democrats are proposing? And there's a lot of stuff that we don't get, but what are the Democrats actually doing? What legislation have they passed? I didn't vote for Joe Biden because I don't like him, right? But what have Joe Biden's administration actually been doing in the actual real world? What actual laws and what actual policies have been passed? What actual policies? What are the name of the bills that's been passed? Because there's been plenty of bills that's been passed that has benefited Americans, that has benefited African Americans. For all intents and purposes, Joe Biden's administration has been doing a relatively good job. But you'll get these middle-aged black dudes who trying to find a grift to tell you the Democrats are trash and they just don't like you. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? What exactly what are they blocking that we want? Matter of fact, what are you asking for on your platforms, and what are you campaigning for on your platforms that the Democrats or independents or any other politicians not giving you? Also, when you want to go to the Republican Party, what Republican is campaigning for the black vote? What policies are the Republicans proposing that will benefit black people? What policies do the Democrats, are we mad that the Democrats are not going to give us, that the Republicans are going to give us? You see, you got all these dumbass pro-black, manosphere red, let's divest from the Democrats, divest from the only semblance of power we have to go to the Republicans, who anybody with any type of common sense actively know their whole agenda is to disenfranchise black people. Literally. And for the life of me, I'm looking at these middle-aged, supposedly smart people on the internet calling themselves influencers, and they're literally herding their sheep into the slaughter because of something they don't like over here. As if the Republicans are going to give you anything you like. They say dumb things like Donald Trump did stuff for us. Donald Trump has not done shit for black people. They say dumb shit like that Donald Trump's funded HBCUs for 10 years. Donald Trump underfunded HBCUs and he only did what he was supposed to do as a president, a continuation of what every president has been doing, but somehow he get all this special credit for some shit he didn't do. The only thing Donald Trump did was let a bunch of dumb-ass niggas out of jail who perpetuate the destruction of the black culture. A bunch of hip-hop heads and a bunch of hip-hop niggas that do coke, crack, and still can't kick their ass out of jail. But yet, these supposedly responsible black leaders in the blackosphere on the internet are trying to push ignorant, unknowledgeable, non-politically astute or aware black people towards the slaughter. That's what they're doing. And they don't actually say anything. A bunch of fucking talking, 3-4 hours, they ain't saying shit. You got one with Pan African Straight Back. Don't say shit. Dude, don't say shit. Dude talk for 3 hours. don't say shit about, he don't say nothing about but how he feels, and he insults people for 3 hours. And that's the leader that's supposed to push you towards the Republican Party. That's what you want. That's the environment you want, right? You want somebody who can talk for 3 hours every fucking day about being a fucking Trump Republican. He can dive in, dig in other people's fucking court case. They can talk about Hunter Biden, which I don't give a fuck about. Hunter Biden is laptop. He's probably a fucking criminal. He does coke. He's one of them, right? You can believe the court. You can believe the justice system that's prosecuting him. You can root for and campaign and talk about the laptop, all the evidence that's supposed to be indicting him and him being held accountable. But that same Justice Department that's holding their guy Donald Trump to account for his criminality, the things that he done, no, that's all boule, that's all fake, that's all. We're just gonna dismiss that as some weird deep state. We're just gonna say deep state for everything, because God knows deep state covers everything ignorant. You got Phil Scott. What the fuck is Phil Scott doing? Is he pro-black or pro-white? What is he? I'm confused. Phil Scott confused the fuck out of me. I'm like, dude, are you a manosphere dude? Are you a pro-black? Are you pro-white? Do you hate African Americans? Do you hate African? Like, that dude, but I mean, he's weird. The shit's weird. He's weird. And the other guy, he's not relevant. He's just a salesperson. Y'all know what that is. But I'm just saying, you got all these middle-aged, they're outdated. All right, they're outdated, they're old, they're crusty, they're not funny, they're not entertaining, they don't add anything to the conversation. But I'm glad I see the youth, the younger ones, younger than me, they're coming out, they're making videos, they're putting real information, they're talking about actual policies. You look at a Republican and ask him about a policy. This whole time Donald Trump been running, at what policies is he running for on? What is he saying he want to do for the future? All he do is complain about how life is unfair. Everything's unfair. Everything's unfair to him. Like a spoiled ass child. What fucking policies is he proposing for his fourth term that will compel anybody to vote for him, despite his criminality? You understand? There's so much hypocrisy in these so-called fake ass leaders that want everybody to follow them. They want everybody to give them all their money. They want super chats, cash apps. They want to self-grandize themselves. They want to boost their fucking egos on the internet for 3, 4 fucking hours, 5, 6 times a day, and they not saying shit. They not saying shit. They just talking about feelings, how they feel, because they all soft, right? And they don't know how to fight the real fight. None of them know how to fight the real fight. They don't know how to talk about politics with any intelligence or any intellectual honesty. They're just shock jocks. Right? They're just shock jocks. And now I'm glad the shock jock area is getting old and played out and stale, because them dudes not even funny no more. You can't be a funny conservative. Sorry, ain't no such thing. All right? But I'm just glad the youth are not listening to these Negroes. Right? And this goes for all countries and all groups of people. White people doing the same shit. They're tired of their old crusty ass white people telling them that their validation is based off their skin. That being white is right. These white people, these white youth, they're tired of this shit. They want to know what happened in America, who did it, when did it happen, and how do we move forward? They're tired of this shit. They're tired of the racism. They're tired of all that shit. The youth are tired. Asian people in Asia are tired of those old fuckers controlling them like they're fucking ants, like they're red fucking army ants. They're tired of that communism, capitalism mix thing they got in China and the various other Asian. Everybody's fucking tired of these old people and their old archaic, savage, subhuman ways of living and governing. And I'm glad the youth have the motivation, the power, and they have the ability to communicate with each other on a scale at which has never been seen on this planet. And there's nothing these old fuckers can do about it. Absolutely nothing. These old government can't shut. Go ahead. You can't shut the internet off no more. They'll find a way. The youth will find, because they're smarter than you. You can't tell them what they see and that's not real. You can't tell them what they're hearing is not what they're hearing. You can't just lie to them and have them just believe it and capitulate to your old archaic tribalistic shit, your old archaic religious dogma shit. They don't give a fuck. The youth don't give a fuck about Israel and no manifest fucking destiny. All they see is a tyrannical government committing genocide. The American youth don't give a fuck about the Christian American exceptionalism manifest destiny. The same shit Israel's doing, but on a bigger scale, right? They don't give a fuck about that. The kids in Europe, they're tired of this shit. The kids in Africa, they tired of it. Everybody's fucking tired. Everybody's tired of these old fuckers. They gotta move the fuck out the way. It's time for them to move out the way. And I'm glad that these young folks are moving them the fuck out the way. And guess what? When I get to a point to where the shit I'm saying, my ideology and my thought process is old and outdated, I will happily step the fuck aside for the young whippersnapper. That's me, 45.0. Proudly, I will sit my senior ass and take my position as an elder and watch the youth take this world and do something good with it. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach them. I'm out.